Tonight, a call for more doctors to staff the Regina Urgent Care Centre. Recommendations to improve the work environment for physicians at Regina hospitals. And the province announces funding to help communities hit by wildfires rebuild.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Regina's Urgent Care Centre is operating on regular hours again after being forced to close early on Sunday due to a physician shortage. It's the second time this has happened in less than a month for a facility that was supposed to be operating 24 hours a day last fall. As Wayne Mantika tells us, the Sask NDP is questioning why more doctors have not been hired.
It was the second time in less than a month that Regina's Urgent Care Centre closed early at 4 because of a physician shortage. It normally accepts patients until 9:30 in the evening. Recruiting doctors has been an ongoing challenge.
We have been careful not to or to understand the impact of recruiting physicians from the community away from family practices for recruitment of family physicians, and also the emergency room physicians. We need to be able to sustain emergency room services at the Pasco Hospital and the RGH.
Originally, the Urgent Care Centre was supposed to be open around the clock. Now the SHA says that between the centre and emergency rooms, patient demand is being met.
We know that our peak demand throughout the day at for urgent type services, be it that are coming through the emergency rooms or at the UCC, we're covering that now.
The province has plans to open additional urgent care centres in Saskatoon, Moose Jaw, Prince Albert, and North Battleford. The NDP opposition questions how the government plans to staff more facilities given the Regina situation.
But they can't even properly staff the one facility that they have open. You know, this is all smoke and mirrors.
The SHA says it will continue to assess how the Urgent Care Centre and emergency rooms are working together in meeting patient needs. It will guide a future decision on Urgent Care Centre hours. In the meantime, physician recruitment will continue. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
14 recommendations to improve the work environment for physicians at Regina hospitals are being brought forward by the government of Saskatchewan following complaints of racism, misconduct, and a lack of professionalism back in November of 2023. Sierra D'Souza Botts explains why health officials plan to do moving forward.
The 8 a.m. and close at 9.
Saskatchewan Health Authority says a third-party review is a chance to reset the relationship with its community of doctors.
Now is absolutely the right time to work together to move us forward to a positive future.
14 recommendations have been presented to Saskatchewan health officials on how to improve its workplace culture for physicians at Regina hospitals. Recommendations include restructuring the Saskatchewan Health Authority's senior physician leadership positions, working collaboratively with the Saskatchewan Medical Association to finalize practitioner staff bylaws, and launching the Saskatchewan Health Authority anti-racism strategy.
Regina physicians have expressed to us a feeling of disengagement at times with the Saskatchewan Health Authority, and that's why I think it's critical for us to engage the physicians early and continue to engage them often.
The review was conducted by two highly respected medical leaders from Ontario and Nova Scotia, following allegations of racism, misconduct, and a lack of professionalism towards physicians at Regina's General Hospital back in November 2023.
I think it's just important to emphasize that, you know, when we do have concerns of racism that come forward, we do investigate those through robust independent processes to ensure that we address any concerns that are legitimate.
The SHA says it will be holding engagement sessions with physicians before finalizing an action plan.
I know this report wasn't very good, but I'm excited for the next, couple of years, because this gives us an opportunity to address exactly that. How do we allow the physicians on the ground and the leadership on the ground to affect change? How can we do that?
The province says longer term of actions to address recommendations will happen over the next 6 to 12 months. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Since evacuees started returning home to communities greatly damaged by the wildfires like Denair Beach, there's been questions as to how the province plans to help rebuild efforts. Today, the government of Saskatchewan made a multi-million-dollar commitment to support those impacted. Stacey Hyde has the details from the Provincial Wildfire Centre.
The provincial government has committed $20 million to recovery and rebuilding efforts. The funding will be used for removing debris, environmental testing, and expanding landfills.
We know that the road to recovery begins with clearing the way, quite literally and figuratively.
Recovery efforts will be led by the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency's Recovery Task Team. Communities that sustained losses during the provincial state of emergency from May 29th to June 26th will have access to the $20 million fund. McLeod says it's not meant to replace personal or business insurance coverage, but it can be used for losses not covered under a standard fire insurance policy.
Wildfires are typically an insurable natural occurrence, and as such, we strongly encourage individuals and businesses to contact their insurance providers as soon as possible if they have not already done so.
The SPSA says so far nearly 300 homes and 60 cabins have been lost in this year's wildfire season. As of Monday afternoon, there are 67 wildfires burning in the province. That's more than double the total active wildfires while the state of emergency was in effect. The SPSA says while a state of emergency isn't being called at this time, the situation can quickly change.
You know, if the situation gets worse, just like it did earlier in the spring, of course, that would be a conversation that I would have with the minister.
The SPSA says cooler weather over the weekend helped with wildfire suppression, but warmer temperatures ahead could hamper firefighting efforts. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Go to Sabine in the Weather Center. It was a weird day today. There was the statement that we could see funnel clouds, and even in Regina, I think we saw 2 or 3 just by our station in like an hour or 2 span.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it had enough strength to stay in the sky or even come to the grounds, Lee. We did see them. We saw lots of chatter on social media as well, but again, it weakened quite quickly, and we would see a lot of these images kind of dissipate into the clouds, and we continue to have those statements in effect, though. So much of South Central and Southeastern Saskatchewan have the weather statements in effect for the possible development of funnel clouds. We probably will see the statements lift later tonight into tomorrow. And then, of course, we have the excessive heat warnings in the southwest with the suggestion that we will see humidity index levels in the around 32 degrees from now into about Wednesday afternoon. So a lot happening in central and southern Saskatchewan today. We saw a lot of these statements go out to late morning, early afternoon, but the temperatures a little cooler than the average. But we will have more information coming up for you in terms of when we'll see a little bit of the warmer temperatures return in your forecast. Lee?
All right, thanks, Sabine. Heavy rains are not in the short-term forecast, as Sabine mentioned. Perhaps good news for residents of Saskatoon after a severe storm on the weekend caused flooding and power issues. Hallie Mandrick explains.
A thunderstorm over Saskatoon significantly affected much of the city on Sunday night.
There's always a chance that our infrastructure may be impacted by that severe weather.
Depending on the area, Saskatoon saw between 23 and 37 millimeters of rain. Many residents took to social media to share images of the significant flooding around the city.
When we got heavy rains like this in the summertime in particular, and in particular in cities, we do see like urban flash flooding or pooling of water on the roads, I guess is a more minor form of the flash flooding. But we do see this happen in cities right across Canada.
In addition to watery roads, Saskatoon Light and Power says around 20,000 residents were impacted by power outages. These outages were due in part to one of Sask Power's transmission lines being struck by lightning.
It's certainly not uncommon. And usually whenever a lightning strike happens to one of our power lines, it throws a breaker, much like you would have inside of your home. If you were to plug something in incorrectly, it would typically throw the breaker on your panel.
As thunderstorm season continues across the province, Sask Power is encouraging residents to brush up on their thunderstorm safety.
Lightning, anything like that, there is a chance that people could come across these downed lines. And if anyone does come across any like a damaged pole or a downed line, stay back a safe distance. We recommend 10 meters or about 33 feet.
Anyone who comes across a damaged power line is advised to either call the Sask Power outage line or 911. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, these days, nothing is off limits for scam artists, from fake GoFundMe pages to pretending to be a relative that's in trouble. Recently, scammers have targeted supporters of the Stars lottery. Carla Shinkaruk has more on the scheme that Stars hopes won't ground crucial ticket sales.
Being called by scammers is nothing new these days, but Stars Air Ambulance is once again warning potential supporters to be on the lookout for a scam targeting their ticket holders.
Of course, it's concerning for us. We want to make sure that our supporters feel secure in supporting Stars, and we want them to know that their data is safe and that their information is safe.
Flynn says the annual lottery brings in a third of the $12 million needed to run air ambulance helicopters out of Saskatoon and Regina. That money pays doctors, nurses, and pilots.
So it is incredibly impactful to us, and the support really does matter.
Saskatoon police confirm this type of prize or lotto scam is not uncommon.
And Stars has always been used since my time in the units. But it kind of comes and goes every year. Usually, obviously, when those lottos take place, you'll see a spike.
So one of the current scams has people being called randomly, asking if they bought a Stars lotto ticket. If they say yes, then they're asked to go buy a gift card to get the grand prize shipped to their house.
We will never ask for money. We will never ask for your Visa card or any sort of information to claim your prize. So please keep an eye out if you see any of that messaging or if someone reaches out to you.
Flynn assures that no breach has been made to their database and the scam calls are random.
They would have no access to our database. They would have no access to our information. That is all private, secure.
Police suggest calling them if you receive a suspicious call or message, adding once you fall prey to this scam, though, there's little they can do.
And that's why they use the gift card variation, is because it's virtually impossible to trace once the code's been provided to the bad guys.
Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, if you like horsepower and motorsports, Odessa, Saskatchewan was the place to be this past weekend. The 9th annual Thunder on the Prairies truck and tractor pulling competition revved things up. Trucks and tractors, all shapes and sizes, were burning gasoline, diesel, steam, even jet fuel to pull a weighted sleigh and sled in front of thousands of spectators. Now, some custom-built tractors had 3 engines up to 10,000 horsepower. The big green sleds you see being pulled are custom-built to provide a heavy challenge for all classes of machines.
They have different weights in the box. They have a skid on the front and different gears for how fast the weight comes forward. So the farther you drag the sled down the track, the farther the weight box comes forward. It changes for every class.
Over the years, the event has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for various projects in the local Odessa area. And an international team of astronomers, including an associate professor at the University of Regina, have discovered an object moving in rhythm with the planet Neptune. The group believes the object to be a minor planet, typically rock and ice, that orbits the sun once every time Neptune does it 10 times, so it's that far away. It also seems to be lined up with Neptune's orbit, coming close to the planet at its closest point to the sun. Now, the group used info from the Canada-France-Hawaii telescope, the Gemini Observatory, and the Magellan-Bedet telescope. Still ahead, Ontario and Alberta agree to interprovincial trade, but will deals like this be enough? And dozens of people have been killed in Texas by flash floods. The premiers of Alberta and Ontario signed a memorandum today boosting trade and cooperation. But as CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, as more interprovincial trade barriers are coming down, there's some skepticism over whether these agreements are the answer.
Free trade being one within all the provinces that will add over $200 billion to our economy.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford touting the potential of Canada-wide free trade after signing new agreements with Alberta to advance energy infrastructure and support the automotive and alcohol manufacturing sectors.
Today's signing marks an historic partnership founded in a mutual ambition to reach the full potential of our provinces.
This deal is the latest in a series of policy moves made in recent months to try and limit the damage caused by U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war by breaking down interprovincial trade barriers. Though a new report out today from a left-leaning think tank argues that the notion that resolving such issues could lead to more than $200 billion in economic gains is pure fantasy. One of its authors cautions the cost of cutting this red tape could result in a race to the bottom for safety and service standards.
I think Canadians need to be wary, and they need to be cautious anytime they see a government saying they're doing something to respond to a national emergency, right?
Meanwhile, one of the authors of the report where the $200 billion estimate originated acknowledged politicians have overstated his estimate.
It's also an estimate that we put forward that represents the maximum possible gains from fully eliminating all of the internal trade barriers in Canada, which so far no government has put anything on the table to actually achieve that objective.
Today, Internal Trade Minister Chrystia Freeland's office said the federal government knows there's more work to do. And that work will continue tomorrow when the ministers responsible for internal trade from each province and territory meet in Quebec City. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
5 more countries are pulling out of an international treaty that bans the production and use of landmines. It is dubbed the Ottawa Treaty, and the move to exit follows a decision by Ukraine to withdraw. Now, Canada played an integral role in the formation of the treaty nearly 30 years ago. 6 European nations, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Ukraine, have all announced their intent to withdraw from the treaty this year, becoming the first signatories to do so. All 6 nations share borders with Russian territory. An urgent search is underway for survivors in Texas after more than 90 people were killed in deadly flash flooding. Among them, dozens of children and their counselors at a Christian summer camp. Adrian Gabriel has more on the tragedy and criticism being levied at Washington for the slow response.
As the search for survivors intensifies, the full scale of this deadly disaster is coming into focus. This footage shares a glimpse of just some of the 850 life and death high water rescues that took place. Hundreds of state and federal first responders and more than a dozen K-9 units are on the ground, including volunteers on foot and horseback.
If it was my babies, I'd want somebody looking, so that's why I'm here.
Dozens of children have been confirmed dead, with another 10 campers and 1 counselor, as of this morning, still missing from Camp Mystic, a Christian girls' camp.
I've lost near friends, best friends, my boss, my godchildren, my house, my car.
The camp, perched along the Guadalupe River, saw floodwaters rise 8 meters in just 45 minutes. 2 hours north in Kingsland, Texas, this time lapse shows just how quickly floodwaters rose.
You know that your child is going to be swimming and canoes and horseback riding and doing archery and making lifetime friends. And then suddenly it turns to tragedy.
With the National Weather Service saying their flood warnings were timely and accurate, questions about weather alerts reached those most at risk remain, with the mayor of Kerrville, Texas, admitting he never received one.
Everyone here, if we could have warned them, we would have done so. And we didn't even have a warning. We did not know.
The city manager of Kerrville asked today why an evacuation order wasn't issued.
It's very tough to make those calls because what we also don't want to do is cry wolf.
An answer that will bring little comfort to those who've lost so much.
With the U.S. president signing a major disaster declaration for Kerr County, Texas, Federal Emergency Management Agency resources have been deployed as ongoing discussions to close down FEMA are still taking place, according to a White House spokesperson today. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Washington.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington to discuss a ceasefire deal to bring an end to the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza.
I think there's a good chance we have a deal with Hamas during the week.
Trump says Israel has agreed to a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza and has warned Hamas to accept it. Hamas has expressed support for the framework of the deal, but says there are amendments they want to make before accepting. Under the current proposal, Hamas would release 10 living hostages in 2 phases, with Israel releasing Palestinian prisoners. Netanyahu has stated Israel's goal is to ensure the elimination of Hamas's military and governmental power. The meeting comes as Israeli and Hamas officials holding indirect talks in Qatar for a second day. Netanyahu says the delegation has instructions to achieve a ceasefire under conditions which Israel has accepted. There are 50 remaining hostages in Gaza. However, less than half are believed to be alive. British officials gathered in London for the 20th anniversary of the 2005 London transit bombings, the deadliest attack on the British capital since the Second World War.
Hope is optimism with a broken heart. In the face of tragedy, optimism fails, but hope presents itself as a survival tool.
52 people died, nearly 800 wounded, when 4 men inspired by al-Qaeda blew themselves up on 3 subway trains and a bus. London Mayor Sadiq Khan and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer laid wreaths at Hyde Park Monument at 8:50 local time to mark the moment the first bomb detonated. Staff and commuters at subway stations nearby paused for a minute's silence. The iconic running of the bulls kicked off in Spain today, with thousands of daredevils sprinting with about a half-dozen bulls charging through the narrow streets of Pamplona. There they go. Runners in traditional red and white ran, skidded, tumbled out of the way as bulls pounded along the twisting cobblestone streets. It lasted just 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Pretty direct time. Emergency services reported 6 people were taken to hospital with injuries to their arms and legs. Thousands of tourists come from all over the world to run alongside. Coming up, high schoolers pull an all-nighter not to play video games, but to create them.
Cougars history is on the move. In the morning, we're hearing for the very first time from Dave Taylor on his decision to leave for UBC.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live, weekdays 6 to 9.
It does not look nice outside. That's not the good news. The good news is that the special weather statements that were issued for South Central, Southeastern Saskatchewan have lifted, though we still have these dark clouds lingering around parts of southern Saskatchewan. Temperatures currently sitting at 22 degrees in Regina. That is the warmest we got up to late this afternoon. The temperature will continue to rise as we head into the rest of this week. We still have the excessive heat warnings in effect for the Southwest. Now, again, Southwest could see humidity index values in the around 32 from basically today into by Wednesday afternoon is where we start to see a little bit of relief from those very warm temperatures. And then we do have some precipitation on the way, and I'll show you that in a second. So essentially what we've got going on from now into about Wednesday is not a whole lot. We're going to see continued clear conditions. By the time we get into Wednesday afternoon, we'll see pockets of rain and possibly some storm cells making their way through parts of southern Saskatchewan, including just around the Swift Current area and just north of the Regina area, along with in and around the Moose Jaw area. Now, this is late Wednesday afternoon. That system will continue to move along, but then we'll see a little bit more of that around the Moose Jaw area by Wednesday evening. As that system clears out, it's not until overnight Wednesday into early morning Thursday that we see that band of precipitation coming through areas around the Swift Current area into Saskatoon. Several storm cells in that band making its way through. So Saskatoon could see quite a bit of rain again. Wynyard also expecting to see some rain first thing Thursday morning as well. And that system will clear out leaving us with a little bit more rain expected for Friday. This is the updated look of rainfall totals between now into Thursday. Again, most of that happening Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. Saskatoon could see close to 20 millimeters, 5 for Moose Jaw, 2 for Kindersley, 4 for North Battleford. Not a whole lot for southern Saskatchewan, though. So something to keep in mind. Again, though, the rain is on the way for a lot of areas in southern Saskatchewan for Friday. Temperatures, though, continuing to warm back up into the 30s or close to 29 for La Ronge and Lloydminster, 28, and a mix of sun and cloud for Prince Albert and the Loche. We're going to continue to see these very warm temperatures, if not getting into the 30s, if not tomorrow, by Wednesday as well. 31 North Battleford tomorrow, mainly sunny. 29 Saskatoon, mainly sunny. 26 and a mix of sun and cloud for Yorkton. The southwest, again, we've already seen those excessive heat warnings, so we're going to see 30 to low 30s in the southwest for tomorrow with a lot of sunshine. 28 for Estevan, a mix of sun and cloud. 27 and mainly sunny for Weyburn, and 31 and sunny for Assiniboia. As far as Regina goes, a little bit of cloud cover expected tonight. 11 degrees is the low, and then tomorrow warming up above seasonal by a couple of degrees. 27 and nothing but sunshine tomorrow. Winds at about 30 kilometers an hour. Whole lot happening this weekend, and that starts on Thursday. But again, tomorrow, Tuesday, sunny, 27, 32 and sunny on Wednesday. By Thursday, first day of Craven's Country Thunder, 25 degrees and mainly sunny. And because it just makes sense, Friday, as we get into your weekend, of course, we have the Riders taking on Calgary at Mosaic Stadium. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Could expect to see some scattered showers. And of course, it's Country Thunder. There's always going to be a day where we expect to see some rain. That would be Friday. Saturday, though, warming back up to 28 degrees, mainly sunny. Sunday, 27 and mainly sunny. And then Monday, the rain returns. 24 is the expected high. So we do have a little bit of precipitation in the mix, but also some very warm temperatures for much of this week, Lee.
Yeah, big week of obviously in Craven and at Mosaic Stadium, so busy.
A whole lot happening.
Busy, busy, busy. Thanks, Sabine.
You bet.
Well, this is not your typical sleepover. 70 high school girls from across the country stayed up all night working together to create video games at what they call a hackathon in Ontario, Ottawa, in fact. CTV's Camille Wilson has the details.
Staying up all night to play video games may sound like a teenager's dream, but when it's a hackathon game jam, it's about more than just playing games. For Sarah Shirazi, this is her first time attending this type of event.
I wanted the opportunity to program something interesting, design a game of my own with the support of my friends, of course. I'm not very good at coding, and I really wanted to just get better, and I feel like practice is the way to do that.
70 students, 25 hours, one goal, all divided into groups competing to build a video game from scratch. Shirazi says she just wants to make something she can be proud of.
I'm a very, I want the experience of it type person, and so I would really enjoy the opportunity to make something, as well as the opportunity to meet so many other people. I see so many familiar faces, but there are also so many people I don't know, and I would really like to make new friends and really just get to know the other people who are interested in similar things to me.
With no previous experiences, the ladies will build their game through trial and error with coding, collaboration, imagination, and their creativity.
No coding experience? Go to Holyoke. Within these next 25 hours, they will get to have fun, but most importantly, learn through workshops and how to code. They will learn CSS, HTML, and different engines and languages. And at the end, I hope that everyone can build a game that they're proud of.
It's the first ever all-girls hackathon in Ottawa, highlighting an industry that is generally male-dominated.
I'm gonna write down some key ideas on my notebook, sketch out what I want the game to look like, and just go on Canva and start designing it before I start coding it, so that I have all the designs out of the way before I start coding.
Through it all, plenty of learning opportunities.
To make sure that we're taking intermittent, 5 to 10 minute breaks in between, because otherwise you kind of walk away from it and you come back and you see something totally new and you're like, oh wait, I should do this.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
Seems like you're good.
Still ahead, Trevor Harris is back practicing after missing the Riders' last game versus BC.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
full consideration, at least in my case. After a bye week, the Riders were back on the field today, preparing for their West Division showdown this Friday versus Calgary. Receivers Sean Bain Jr., Samuel Emelis were limited, but they were at practice, while quarterback Trevor Harris back fully practicing after missing the Riders' last game versus the BC Lions. Jacob Carr has the latest from Riderville.
Trevor Harris is back on the practice field for the Green and White this week. If it was up to him, he would have been in action during Week 4's win against the BC Lions, but in the end, Harris had to think about the long game.
I was fine. Let's not probably go down that road. A little bit of a shouting match, but always trust what the doctors are saying, and they're looking out for our best interests. And at the end of the day, we've only got one brain, and we're all going to be 55 and 60 someday. And I got 4 kids.
The Riders come into Week 6 as the only undefeated team in the Canadian Football League, and getting their starting signal caller back is a big boost.
The squad's happy as ever to have him back out there and doing what he loves to do, and for me, always just for those guys, I'm just happy for them to be able to get back out there and do it. I know he don't like to miss nothing.
While Harris might have enjoyed an extended 2-week bye due to injury, the majority of the team is fresh off 1 week of rest. But now it's time to get back to work for the Green and White.
The energy was high all the way from the meetings this morning. Dudes missed each other, so that's a good thing. So everybody was ready to get back and get after it, and I thought the practice was excellent today.
Flores looking to throw again. Far side intercepted. It's taken away by Moncrief. This is a dagger. Can you believe it?
Harris and the Saskatchewan offense face a stiff upcoming test in former Rider Derek Moncrief and a Stampeders defense that just held Winnipeg to 16 points.
I don't think anybody scored a touchdown in the first 3 quarters on this defense. They make things very difficult on you because the best defenses they don't do 65 different coverages. They play what they play, and they get really, really good at it, and they make things difficult for you.
There will be plenty of early season stakes for Friday's West Division tilt, as the winner of the game will take hold of first place in the division. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
By the way, you may have noticed during practice, Trevor Harris, some of the players wearing those Obsidian helmets. Those will be the jerseys that they wear Friday in case you're going and need to choose which jersey to wear. All right, some of the world's best men's softball players are in Prince Albert for the WBSC World Cup Finals. 8 teams vying for the title, including Canada. Jasmine Pelche has more on Team Canada's chances and what hosting the event means for the city of Prince Albert.
8 teams are competing for the title of Men's Softball World Champion at the World Baseball Softball Confederation World Cup Finals, which kick off Tuesday at Prime Minister's Park. Canada won silver at the previous event in 2022.
22 hurt a lot. Being so close, but yet so far. So usually our motto is how we steer our ship. If you're not first, you're last. So we're here for one goal, and that is to come back out on top. But it is nice to be back in our own country, so hopefully we can get to that game.
Team Canada, ranked 4th in the world, will play in Group A alongside world #1 Argentina, 5th-ranked Venezuela, and the 8th-ranked New Zealand.
We're very excited with the 16 athletes that we've chosen. We're fully prepared. We had a good prep tournament with the 4 nations last weekend, so we expect every game to be a dogfight and right down to the last inning.
Chair of the local organizing committee, Ian Litzenberger, says a moment over 10 years in the making has finally arrived.
It's been a decade, right? And so many of us have put in the time right from the start. And to see and to think that first pitch is tomorrow at 11:30 is just, as I mentioned earlier, just so humbling. At the end of the day, we get to watch some amazing ball, but we get to leave a legacy for this community.
2 Saskatchewan-born players will be representing Canada this week. Saskatoon's Devin McCullough and Delisle's Max Major. Canada plays its first game Tuesday evening at 8:30 against New Zealand. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
All right, well, staying on a diamond, a different sport, though. Saskatoon Berries really enjoying the fruit of their labors as they are on a tear in the WCBL's East Division. They have a record of 26-4. First place in the league, 6.5 games clear of second-place Medicine Hats, and they have a magic number of 9 with the All-Star break just still more than a week away. Now, the Berries have been the best team. They came from a 5-run deficit in the opening inning Sunday as they rallied to beat the Regina Red Sox with the bullpen surrendering just 3 hits in more than 8 innings.
have a good group. I mean, we have a lot of older kids as well, so we have a good group. So they hold each other accountable, and they just love playing the game of baseball, and they love being around each other.
Been pitching well, finding my spots, and the team's been rolling. Yeah, it's always been a next man up mentality for the guys. So we have a really deep pitching and hitting roster. So anything can happen this season.
We have a really deep group, though, so just guys subbing in and out, and they get their chances, and they take it. We have a pretty deep lineup, so it helps.
The Bears are going to try to keep that winning way going tonight. They host the Moose Jaw Miller Express, who are currently sitting in 4th place in the division. That's the final playoff spot. They're 13.5 games back of the Berries. Regina is going to travel to Weyburn to take on the Beavers. Weyburn and Swift Current currently sitting out of a playoff spot. Still to come, police need your help to catch a golf club thief.
Take a look at your forecast for tomorrow in rural Saskatchewan. Looking quite warm, as many parts of the province will be, because we are back to getting into some areas getting into the 30s. So let's take a look at what we can expect. Also very clear conditions across the board. Mainly sunny for Wynyard and Hudson Bay, 27 degrees, 26 for Melfort. But then we'll see some areas getting into the 30s. Meadow Lake, a mix of sun and cloud, 30 degrees. Sunny and 30 for Outlook. And Kindersley, mainly sunny and 32 degrees. Now, as we get closer to the southern border, those 30s appear a little bit more frequently in many parts, including the southwest, where we are seeing those excessive heat warnings. So 33 and sunny for Leader and Maple Creek, 31 for East End Cypress, Rosetown, 30 for Assiniboia and Rockland. So many areas getting some very warm temperatures tomorrow, including Strasbourg, located about 80 kilometers north of Regina. Digital reporter, journalist David telling me it could be considered one of the gateways to Last Mountain Lake. Perfect day to head to the lake tomorrow. Sunny and 26 degrees, and the winds getting up to about 30 kilometers an hour, but all over in and around Strasbourg, a very nice seasonal day.
The incident happened on May the 10th, 2025, in the early morning hours on the 3600 block of East Houghton Road. A man entered a parking garage and then found a storage unit and broke into it, stealing a set of golf clubs valued at around $5,000. The suspect is described as a man with a slim build, wearing a black New York Yankees ball cap, a black Raptors t-shirt, and a large silver chain around his neck. He appeared to have short, dark, salt and peppered hair. He also had red running shoes.
I'm Constable Dana Adams with the Regina Police Service. Crime Stoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash reward for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina. Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
A mysterious band has reignited the debate over AI-generated music. A group called the Velvet Sundown racked up hundreds of thousands of listeners on Spotify, only to be exposed as being created using AI. CTV's John Venavali Rao has more.
AI is officially getting scary.
On TikTok, there's been plenty of buzz.
This is Velvet Sundown.
About the band, which is adding hundreds of thousands of listeners daily on Spotify. Dust on the wind, boots on the ground. Checking out what's almost certainly songs AI generated, released by a supposed group called the Velvet Sundown, which very little is known about. And even if it's AI, many we played the music for, we're impressed.
I would say definitely if you put it on the radio, it would chart.
If you just told me and you didn't tell me that was AI, I probably wouldn't have known.
There are what appear to be AI-generated pictures of the group,
Are you sure we're not real?
Which has put out 2 albums and first flagged as suspicious by users on Reddit.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's no better or no worse than probably thousands of songs that come my way.
The attention it's getting intensifying the debate over whether AI music should be clearly labeled as such, something Spotify and many other streamers don't do.
It's basically the Wild West across Spotify because you can post content and you're not required to let anyone know that it is in fact AI generated.
Music streaming service Deezer uses a tool to detect AI songs. As of April, it said 18% of all music uploaded, that's 20,000 songs a day, are entirely AI generated. That company recently started flagging AI music to its listeners. The CEO writing, AI is not inherently good or bad, but we believe a responsible and transparent approach is key to building trust with our users and the music industry. Do you think they should label this stuff as AI?
I definitely think they should label it. I feel like some people just don't want to listen to AI like content or like see that.
But some aren't all that fussed about labeling.
I would listen to it anyway, even if it's AI, because good music's good music.
And no matter your views, it is another noteworthy AI moment. John Vanavelli Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Smoke in the sky.
Markets, TSX down 15 points, Dow Jones by 422 points. Meanwhile, the Canadian dollar went down almost 0.4 cents to 73.13 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold down 65 cents. West Texas Intermediate crude up $1.01. Western Canadian Select crude, though, the other way, down 62 cents. And gas in Regina right now, commonly found at most places, if not all, for $1.31.9 cents per liter.
Hello there. Canadian and U.S. stocks slipped today from those record highs that they hit on Friday. That's after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to apply tariffs of up to 40% on nations such as Myanmar, Serbia, and South Africa if they don't agree to trade deals. Toronto's index of banking stocks hit a new high. Royal Bank of Canada closed at a new record just north of $180. Bank of America thinks the prospect of faster economic growth in Canada should support the lender's shares in the second half of the year. Analyst Ibrahim Poonawalla says the newly elected Liberal government in Ottawa is, quote, moving with a sense of urgency to stimulate the economy. And activity in the housing market is recovering after a tariff chill. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we've got American Ninja Warrior for a couple hours, followed by The Rookie for an hour, Big Bang Theory, E-Talk, and a national and local news with Donovan Mace. After more than 100 years of production, there will be no more Jersey milk chocolate bars made in Canada.
That's right. The bars were first developed by dairy brand William Nielsen in 1924 and only produced in Canada. But production fell under Mondelez International after a series of acquisitions. A spokesperson for the company says the decision to drop the Jersey bar came after a review showed that consumers prefer buying other pure milk chocolate bars. She also says the end of production won't result in any job cuts. Real quick.
Yeah.
What's
like
your favorite?
Dairy milk. Yeah, I can see that taking over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. All right, well, finally, a wiener dog race over the weekend that went sideways.
Look, things began orderly fashion. Several dozen ducks and ready to go. And just like when our newsroom goes to do stories, and they're off. Chaos. Dogs in every direction. The race happened during a minor league baseball game. Tricky to say which canine won, but maybe it was just the fans that won after complete and utter chaos.
Okay, but haven't they done these kinds of races before?
Well, no, they're just average dogs, you know?
What would be the trick if you had your puppy?
Well, maybe you'd have somebody at the other end with a treat trying to get their attention.
Strategy.
That would probably, I know what we would do with Dottie. Just send my wife down to the other end and poof, gone.
Oh, because she likes her.
If I went to the other end, she'd go the other way.